Do you ever wake up nauseous and the feeling lingers all day long? What about that afternoon energy dip where you would literally do anything for a cup of coffee or a chocolate bar? How about getting hangry when it's been a while since your last meal? Maybe you experience feeling lightheaded frequently or chronic headaches that go away instantly with a drink of juice. Have you ever started a workout and then 5 minutes in feel like the last thing you can possibly do is finish that workout? Some of these things are sneaky ways our body is giving us a signal about blood sugar. And some of these things we can misinterpret as a blood sugar signal, but really our body's telling us something else. Blood sugar awareness isn't just for diabetics anymore. I'm Dr. Tiffany. I'm a naturopathic doctor in Ontario and a member of the Vitamart educational team. In this video, I'm going to shed some light on the cues to look for to see if your body is struggling with blood sugar regulation, and then we'll chat about the best ways to manage this through food, exercise, and supplementation. Blood sugar conversation is one I have in my office often, and it's not just with people who have a diabetes diagnosis. In fact, more often it's with people who don't have diabetes. But the diagnosis of diabetes isn't the only way we can qualify issues with blood sugar. And as I alluded to earlier, some of the signals our body gives us to tell us it's struggling might not be totally intuitive. We're gonna go through the top 3 most common symptoms people experience when they're having blood sugar regulation issues. Before we jump into the experience you might be having, I wanna cover some fundamentals about blood sugar regulation that are important to be aware of. Blood sugar regulation is a constant job your body is handling. Yes, it ramps up around mealtime, but all day, every day, your body is mobilizing resources for activities and storing resources to be used later on. This process is actually hormonally driven, and this is part of the reason that these systems are so sensitive and so easily thrown off, but also can look like lots of other issues. Because when hormones are involved, there are tons and tons of factors. So, one hormone, the big one to be aware of in this system, is called insulin. Insulin is the hormone that reduces your blood sugar. Glucagon is the counterpart. It's the one that will increase blood sugars. And I know what you're thinking. We must want no glucagon because we think of blood sugar and we think it's bad because of all of the things we hear online about what diabetes means. But proper blood sugar control actually means maintaining a certain level of sugars in the blood at any given time. We need some. So if you're expending energy doing a workout or studying really hard or carrying around an infant, your body has to somehow replenish what's being used. That's when glucagon comes in. Insulin is more active after you've had something to eat. When you eat, no matter what it is, carbs, fats, proteins, it eventually becomes sugar in the blood. So after a meal, the blood is flooded with these sugars as they're digested. Insulin is sent out like a faithful soldier to collect the sugars and store them for energy later. It's the balancing act between insulin and glucagon that maintain a healthy sugar level and keep you feeling symptom-free. When that system isn't at its best, that's when we start to feel not quite ourselves. So, what are the top 3 complaints I hear in my office that trigger me to think there might be a blood sugar concern? First, getting hangry. Second, nausea, either waking up with nausea or having nausea throughout the day. And third, insomnia. First, hanger. Those of you who experience this, there is no more explanation needed. You know exactly what I mean. For those of you who don't know what I mean, or for the boyfriends and husbands that need an explanation, Google's definition of hanger is, quote, being bad-tempered or irritable as a result of hunger. Yes, it's real. We aren't just being dramatic. Our body is shutting down because it's telling us we must eat now. And actually, sometimes we don't even know it's because we're hungry because we've missed those cues from our body. We just know the mood is plummeting fast. You're our best friend if you show up in that moment with some sort of carb. Forget the chicken and broccoli, we need cookies and french fries. Am I right? There's an actual physiological explanation for this. When our blood sugar drops, it signals cortisol, our stress hormone, to rise. Because the state of starvation is a stress on our body, the same as a presentation at work or school would cause stress. Our body literally can't distinguish this from preparing for a physical fight. Cortisol spikes, we get aggressive. Sound familiar? Hunger can be detrimental to relationships. Get your blood sugars under control now. We have to avoid this rapid drop in blood sugars that happens. I mean, your body isn't literally starving. You probably had your last meal within 4 to 6 hours. So why is it responding in such a dramatic way? It's because those hormones, insulin and glucagon, are mismatched. There's a regulation issue which skews the blood sugars and activates this reaction. The end of the story is, if you're getting hangry, we need to sort out your blood sugar regulation. And then you'll be able to go hours between meals with no urge or need at all for more calories, because your body will provide you with the blood sugar it needs from your storage sites. More on how to address this later. Next, nausea. If you're waking up feeling nauseous or you're feeling nauseous the whole day, try regulating your meals. The body often confuses its hunger and thirst cues. Instead of feeling thirst, we feel hunger. Instead of feeling hunger, we feel nausea. It's a nasty little cycle because often when we feel nauseous, it makes us want to eat even less. But push through, give yourself a good meal, and see how the body responds. If you're waking up nauseous, it could be because it's been a long break since your last meal and your body isn't handling that break well. Third, insomnia. Most people would never attribute sleep issues to blood sugars. However, I've seen it time and time again in my practice. We're waking up in the night and having difficulty falling back asleep. This is particularly the case if you're struggling with hot flashes waking you in the night. Of course, there are many reasons our sleep can be off, but don't discount the role sugars are playing in this story. Like I said before, there are many other signals we look for that can also mean there's a blood sugar regulation issue. But these are some sneaky ones people often mention in my office. Now, how do we fix it? Regulating blood sugar isn't a one and done job. It relies on healthy choices as part of your lifestyle. Over the next few minutes, I'm going to walk you through some tips for managing this through food, exercise, and supplements. So as I mentioned, the big thing here when managing blood sugars is healthy lifestyle choices. Usually this starts with how we eat. And no, I'm not about to tell you you can never have cake and cookies again, but we've all heard the saying, everything in moderation. And this is really the key. Making the healthy choice 80 to 90% of the time. And what exactly do I mean by the healthy choice here? This is really determined by how your hormones respond to specific food. Everyone will be slightly different, but I'll give you the gist. Protein is your best friend here. The sole way we can moderate blood sugars through the diet is protein. So making sure you have some with every meal and enough throughout the day is key. And it sounds easy, but this is one of the big things I see patients struggle with. It's tricky to get enough without being conscientious of it. We've talked about this in previous videos, but as a reminder, this is how to calculate your required daily protein intake. Take your weight and convert it to kilograms. Now divide that by 2. That number in grams is the amount of protein you should be having. So getting that protein in during the day is step 1. The other part of this is to have some protein every time you eat, even if that's a snack. The reason being that when you consume anything, protein helps your body handle those sugars better. It's sort of a buffer for blood sugar spikes. So for example, if you're going to have an apple as a snack, then also bring some hummus or nut butter to dip your apple slices in. The other main food thing I want you to consider is related to healthy fats. Healthy fats are how our body builds hormones. So if there's any sort of hormone imbalance or shortage, healthy fats are quite helpful. Now the dreaded carb conversation. There is no world where you should have no carbs. That's not what I'm about to propose, so please stay with me. Certainly carbs are usually the big killers from a blood sugar standpoint, because some of them hit the system really quickly and cause hormone spikes. Fiber and protein help with this. But as I mentioned before, everything is about good, consistent choices, making sure meals are balanced. That doesn't mean no carbs or even low carbs. It just means having a healthy balance of carbs, fat, and protein. And actually, you're more likely to be able to consistently make these good, healthy choices if you build in the quote-unquote cheat days or have dessert sometimes. If you are someone who thinks your sleep could be impacted by sugars, again, this is going to be more so if you're getting hot flashes in the night, then try a snack before bed, either some Greek yogurt or kiwis. to help balance the sugars throughout the night. Now, the second big component when it comes to managing blood sugar spikes and crashes is exercise. Exercise, any type of exercise in fact, has a magical impact on blood sugars. When we exercise, the body actually opens up more receptors for glucose. Think of it like grocery store cashiers. They have 2 or 3 open when things aren't busy, and then when there's an influx of people, they open up more checkout stands to push more people through. Exercise allows the muscles to open up more checkout stands so more glucose can pass through. So regular exercise is a game changer for blood sugars. And the correct type of exercise is the kind you enjoy most, because that's the only one you're most likely to stick to. Lastly, if you're looking for some additional support to help with your blood sugar situation, there are a few supplements and herbs you can try. Cinnamon is one that's pretty well known for sugar support. You can do this in a supplement, but it's much more enjoyable on your oatmeal or hot chocolate. If you've done a quick Google search, you've probably seen chromium come up. This definitely isn't my first choice for people who don't have true diabetes, but it can be helpful as part of a herbal blend. If you're someone who also struggles with digestive issues, you can consider berberine to help with blood sugar control too. It's not only one of the best natural things we have for insulin and sugar control, but it's also great for bloating. Be careful with your dosing. Since this is a very powerful tool for lowering blood sugars, it can cause some lightheadedness. So be sure to take it with your meals to avoid this. The best vitamin berberine from Vitamart is a good starter berberine because it's not dosed too highly. You can try taking one with your larger meals in the beginning to see how your body responds. A slightly higher dose of berberine is available in the Thorn Berberine HP. Other key herbs to look for to help with insulin management are gymnema and momordica, otherwise known as bitter melon. These can be found in most of the sugar balancing formulas like the Best Vitamin Best Glucose Support, or on their own. I would advise everyone to speak with their naturopath before dabbling in these herbs too much. They're quite powerful. So, to recap, there are many ways your body can indicate to you that it's struggling with insulin and glucose control. The top 3 I see in my office are nausea, getting hangry, and insomnia. If you want to start shifting your lifestyle to support better sugar hormone swings, then work on incorporating protein every time you eat, lots of healthy fats, and fiber-rich foods. Exercise is also a great tool for balancing blood sugars. And if you feel you need more support, then give some of the herbs and supplements a try. Again, I'm Dr. Tiffany Zugan, naturopathic doctor in the GTA and a member of the Vitamart educational team. Thanks for joining me today to learn about shifting our lifestyle to better support blood sugar management in us non-diabetics. Don't forget to like this video if you enjoyed it and subscribe for more of our great content.